Hey guys, Adam here of Ad's Projects, and today I've got my first unboxing video for you, courtesy of scan.co.uk. Now this is actually a fan controller for Biohazard, so let's get it open and have a look. So this is a Thermaltake Commander FT5. The 5 stands for 5 channels. It is a 50 watt 5.5 inch touchscreen device. Now it is at the lower end of the fan controller market. This was only £27 before shipping. I'm not expecting much from it, but compared to some of the others on the market, this is one of the cheaper 5 channel devices that have touchscreen functionality on it. So let's get it out of the box. Is there anything else on the front of it? 5 channels, 5-inch screen, has thermal probe, manual and auto features, warning alarm and short circuit protection, performance and silent priority mode, switch between Celsius and Fahrenheit, fan working display, thermal dynamics readout, inclusive fan speed slider, and comprehensive fan control and cooling and noise. Fits in a standard 5.25-inch drive bay, so standard CD-ROM drive. Where's my knife? Right, let's get this out of the box. So, get rid of the box. Over there. So, instruction manual. It's in multiple different languages. Looking at that, so get rid of that. Product warranty. So there are mounting screws and what looks like double-sided tape, potentially for the thermal probe to stick it somewhere. Get rid of that for the time being. Packing's not wonderful, but what do you expect for £27? Let's get this up. So, on the face of it, it looks a nice device. The chassis is metal, looks like steel. Has a plastic front to it. It has a obviously touch sensitive screen. It has 5 independent channels. These are 3-pin, not 4-pin, so they won't do PWM. But for my requirements, that's fine. There is a thermal couple, which is got a protective piece of plastic tubing on it for shipping, I guess. The power connector. It does look, unfortunately, one of the flimsy ones where the pins move around, but hopefully that won't be too much of an issue. Cable length on this is about 30 centimetres or 1 foot. Cable length on the channels looks longer. Yeah, much longer. That actually goes off camera. That's probably about 60 centimetres or 2 feet. The thermal probe, again, is about 60 centimetres or 2 feet. Let's have a closer look at the board. Now these are all detachable, so if you're not planning to use all of them, you can take them off, which is nice, including the thermal probe. There is a jumper to turn the buzzer or beeper off. That's quite a nice feature based on these are extremely annoying when they go off anyway. Granted, they're quite nice to have for fan performance in terms of underrun or over temp. It's nice to have an audible alarm, given the fact that you're not going to be controlling these from your PC. But in my case, it's just annoying. Board quality, it's not too bad. There are a couple of capacitors that aren't actually flush to the board where they've been soldered. Other than that, it's alright. If I was bothered, I'd take the panel off and reflow them and push them in, but yeah. The module itself actually has quite a nice recess in it, which, given the amount of cables that there are, means you can actually get them out of the way if you are planning on keeping some, if you do have excess. So it's nice to actually get them out of the way without having to cable manage them in your case. Right, let's power this up and see what it's like. Now, being the really cheap pins, this is going to be interesting. Now this is 12 and 5 volts, it's 5 volts to run the actual display and the device, and then 12 volts obviously fed through to the fans. Yeah, it's going to be one of those fiddly Molex. That's not gone in too badly. So initially the screen lights up. There are channels 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The temperature readout is in the middle offset to the right. The fan RPM is towards the bottom right. It looks like you have full speed and quiet or low speed. Auto and manual controller at the top. You have a screen brightness display again at the top, which is dim and on. You can hold it for 3 seconds and it will actually turn off the display completely. To bring the display back on, you just need to touch it. He says touching it several times. Manual control. The slider bar on the left indicates the fan speed. It currently looks like it's at 30% based on each of these being 10%. So let's bring that up. Yeah, that's 40%, so they're based on 10. You can also control this just using your fingers and actually just tapping in the slider bar to bring the fan speed up. Now, the temperature warning, if you hold down the temperature display for 3 seconds, enable you to change the set point for the alarm. At seconds it's 40 degrees, so you can, 40 is the lowest. Let's see how high that goes up. 60, 80, 90. Okay, so the top point is 90 and the bottom is 40. Now, auto on this, you haven't got a fan speed profile that you can control that I'm aware of. It's all based on intelligent discussions with thermal probes. So setting the temperature set point on this doesn't have an effect on auto. So if you set it at 40 and it's at 35, it won't ramp the fans up based on that. Would be around about sort of 90% of its fan threshold. So auto on this isn't wonderful. For me personally, I'm going to be using a manual control. If I come across anything different with auto, then I will drop that down in the description. Right, let's plug a fan into it and see how quickly it responds. So here I have just a standard 80mm fan. As I said before, these are only 3-pin. It does have a 4-pin Molex, although one of them isn't actually inserted in the socket. So let's plug in the 3-pin. Based on 40%, that starts up relatively quickly. Now let's see how fast this actually responds to the touch panel. So let's ramp that up to full using the full option. When he actually pushes it, oh, that's because it's still set to auto. Change it to manual. Now that does ramp up relatively quickly. It's within a second or two. Let's have a look at how quickly the thermal probe changes the temperature as well while we're here. Let's take the cover off. And bit of body heat. Oh, that's instant. That really is quite quick. So it looks like the update interval on that is within a second or two. Let's bring the fans back down as well and see how quickly. Yeah, it seems the update time intervals on this are around about a second or two. So for what it is only an entry-level fan controller. For the price, it's fun. You know, it's a good device for the price. You're getting 5 channels of manual and auto control with a thermal probe from a well-known brand. It is what it is. It is a nice device. So yeah, the next videos I make on this will be in Biohazard. One thing I've noticed on this is when the fan was unplugged, the sounder didn't go off, so I'm wondering if any sounder goes off once it's dropped below a certain threshold. So let's test that quickly. Oh yeah, there we go. And the screen flashes. Now that is one of the most annoying sounding buzzers on the planet. So let's pull out the jumper. Let's see if that disables it. Better do. Yeah, fantastic. So you can disable the buzzer, which is nice. So Other than that, there's not much to go over on this. It is an extremely simple fan controller. It's £27-ish on scan at the time of this video. It's from a well-known brand. It will go with the fans in the case. So yeah, above all, I'm happy with it. Not much else to say apart from that. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe, I would appreciate it. And take care.